Guys, welcome back. My name is Tash for those of you who are new here, and today I wanted to review a few Blend Bunny products, mainly the Longing palette, which is their newest release, and then I've got a blush palette and a highlighter palette. I've got two blush palettes, but I'm only going to use one in this video and you'll see why. I've got the Juicy Cheeks. These came out a while ago, these blush palettes, and the highlighter palettes have been out for quite a while as well, but they're new to me, so I've only just picked them up. I've got the Juicy Cheeks blush palette, and this is just full of really beautiful bright colours. I'm not going to use that one today. I am actually going to use the Bare Cheeks blush palette, and this one looks like this, and you'll see why. They're just a bit more softer and more muted tones, and I feel like they'd go really well with the Longing palette, so we're going to use that. And then I've got the Noctilucent highlighter palette, which I'm really excited about. This is the Noctilucent highlighter palette. Can you guys even see that? This is what it looks like inside anyway. I'm not sure how well that's picking up on camera. They're all beautiful highlighter shades with shifts to them. I've just got those products to show for you, and then we'll get on to the Longing palette. I'm going to do two looks with the Longing palette. It is like mainly made up of blues, greens and purples. I wanted to do two looks just so I could get as much use out of the palette as possible before I give you my first impressions. But before we start that, let's get some blush and highlighter on. So we're going to grab the Bare Cheeks palette, and I'm going to go in with the shade, I think I want to do a purple look today, so I'm going to go in with the shade Baby Girl, which is this really beautiful cool tone pink. These kind of pinks are very popular at the moment. Just going to try that. Just dip my brush in. I've heard these are quite pigmented, so I don't want to go too much into it. Well, that's really pretty, and that's going to be perfect for our look today. Just going to build it up a little bit. The best way to use these kind of blushes when they're pigmented is just to grab the smallest amount and build up, rather than just swirl your brush around and grab too much. Okay, that's really pretty. So far that's blended in really well, and even though they are quite pigmented, if you just work slowly with them and work bit by bit, then you should be okay and you can get the intensity that you desire. So next I'm grabbing my Noctilucent palette, and I'm just going to take the shade Far Out, which is a beautiful purpley shade. My highlighter palette is full of beautiful like shifty shades. I don't even know if my camera's picking that up. Let me move it a bit closer. And I will say they are quite sparkly. If you're not into like micro sparkles, then I would avoid this like the plague. If that doesn't bother you like me, then you should be fine. I'm going to highlight my cheeks. So you can definitely see the sparkles, but on me they don't seem to enhance any texture at least. They're really beautiful. They kind of remind me of both the Cosmic brushes and the Kaleidos highlighters, which also, both of those products have sparkles in them. The other thing I love about these highlighters is they have a translucent base, so they're going to suit all types of skin tones. I've gone with a purpley shift one today because I'm going to be doing a purplish look. So that's what I've decided to go with today. But yeah, I think that's so pretty. Okay, so highlighter and blush is done. Let's get into the Longing palette. So this is the Blend Bunny Longing palette. Here's what she looks like inside. You get a beautiful, nice big mirror. And then these are your shades. You've got your greens, your blues and your purple shades. I love the layout of Blend Bunny palettes. I've actually got two other Blend Bunny palettes, but I haven't tried them yet. I think I might do videos with them even though they're older palettes. But now you can buy Blend Bunny from Glisten Cosmetics here in the UK, so have a look on their site. I think the Longing palette is sold out at the moment, but last time I checked on Monolith it was available. So Monolith is shopped based in the EU. We're not in the EU anymore, but they still ship to the UK and the shipping rates aren't too bad either. So I'll leave the links below for those websites, and of course the Blend Bunny website for those of you who are living in the US. Let me tell you a bit more about this palette. This palette is a cool toned dream palette curated for the hopeless, tragic, romantic inside us all. Cool browns, muted sages, steel blues and icy lavenders sure to create heartbreakingly beautiful looks. Duochromes, multi-chromes, extra sparkly shimmers complement each row like a dream. Okay, so I wanted to focus more on this side of the palette today, this like purpley side. I really want to use this shade called Love Letters. It's just singing to me, so I definitely want to go into that. And also, I'm a sucker for shimmers, so we're going to go into Remember as well. But first off, we're going to start our look using the shade Twist of Fate. So I've wanted to try Blend Bunny for ages, but we never really had it available here. They do ship from America, but the shipping rates can be quite steep. So I'm so happy we've got shops like Monolith EU and also Glisten Cosmetics that are now stocking them. Oh wow, the shade's pigmented. So we're just blending that right into the crease. Up to but not into the inner corner. And I have to say I'm not getting any fallout, but once again I do tap my brushes, so that really helps. Okay, so far so good. I'm going to take that onto the lower lash line as well, but I'm just going to swap brushes. So on that shade I will say, even though I'm tapping my brush off and I'm not getting any fallout on my face, you do get quite a lot of kick up in the palette once you tap that brush in. So just be aware of that. But these shades, these matte shades, are so beautiful and so smooth to the touch. Next, I'm taking an EO7 and going into the shade Pleading. Okay, I will say, even though I tap my brush off with this one, I am still getting a tiny bit of fallout. I powdered under my eyes, so it's wiping away really easily. But if fallout is a deal breaker for you, then that's just something to take note of. I'm just taking it out to the outer corner and just into the crease a little bit, like 2/3 of the way across. And I'm just going to blend it into the other shade. Even though they're pigmented, you can get some pigmented shades and they can be a right nuisance to blend, so this is really nice to work with. So I'm going to take an EO7 and I'm just going to go into this shade called Love Letters. I'm so excited about this. Spray our brush. I was going to use glitter glue today, but I cannot for the life of me remember where I put it, so we're going to go with setting spray again. And we're just going to place that in the centre of the lid. We're just going to overlap that deeper matte shade just slightly. Wiping off that same brush, I'm going to go into the shade Remember. That's going on the inner part of the eyelid. If I could, I'd put Love Letters all over my lid, that purple shade. But I do want to use as many shadows as I possibly can. Next I'm going to take an EO1 and I'm going to go into the shade Take Me Back. And I'm just placing that on the lower lash line. I'm also going to mix it in with Pleading so it's not as dark as it comes across in the palette. And I'm only taking that halfway across the lower lash line. One of the things I find crazy about this palette is that you don't have to keep dipping back into the matte shades. I know I keep going on about how pigmented they are, but they are really pigmented but very blendable. And a little bit goes a very long way. Taking that same brush, I'm going to wipe it off and then I'm going to use the shade underneath my lashes, When It Rains, which again is another beautiful shifty shade. And again, I'm just going to wet my brush for ultimate intensity and less fallout. Okay, I think When It Rains might be my new favourite shade. It's between that and Love Letters at the moment. Both very shifty shades, both extremely beautiful. Then I'm going to take that big fluffy EO3 that I took at the beginning, highlight my inner corner with the shade All That's Left. Oh, these shimmers are gorgeous. The sparkles in them are amazing as well. They catch light beautifully. That is quite an intense shade. So I'm just going to dull it down a little bit with my beauty blender. Because I dragged it down a bit too far. But you know what? I'm not even that bothered. It just picks up beautifully. Okay, so that's a really beautiful look. I'm going to put some eyeliner on and some mascara and I'll be right back. So I just used one of the Colourpop Multichrome bluish eyeliners to line my eyes, and this is in Ventura Boulevard. And then I just used mascara on my top lashes and I think we're done with this look. Let's move on to look number 2. Okay, starting with the cheeks again, I'm going back into the Bare Cheeks palette and I'm going to grab the shade Just a Touch, which is this beautiful like nudie brown shade here. For highlight today, I'm going to dip into the shade Transient, which has like a greeny shift to it. Honestly, these highlighters are so pretty. Because we're going to be doing a green look today, so I thought a green highlighter would be a good idea. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my Longing palette and I think I want to focus on these more minty tones. So I'm going to take an EO3 and this shade here called Woe, and we're just going to place that in the crease. And if yesterday was anything to go by, I probably just want to take this easy and pick up as little as possible. These shadows are pretty extreme, in a good way. And I'm taking this right through the crease, blending as I go, but I'm being careful not to hit that inner corner. I'm not noticing any fallout with this shade. It seems to be the darker shades so far that I've noticed fallout with, and that's even with tapping my brush. But these lighter shades seem to be okay. And then just to deepen up that crease a little bit, I'm going to take an EO2 and the shade Misty Eyed. So going right into my crease with this shade. So I'm mainly focusing on this quad here, and we are going to take Bottle Up and put that in my outer corner. I'm then just going to take an EO5 and just make sure that that's blended just slightly into the crease on the outer corner. I still can't find my glitter glue, so I'm going to be using setting spray again today. And I'm going to dip into the shade When It Rains once again. This one just here. Possibly my favourite shade in the palette so far. And I used this on my lash line in the last look and it looked so pretty, so I really want to use it again. But I promise I will use more shades on the bottom lash line. And we're just going to place this on the middle of the eyelid. That shift is gorgeous. And then I'm just going to do my little zigzagging motion to blend that shade into the matte in outer corner. So far I'm not noticing any fallout even with those deeper green shades. It seemed to be just the darker shades in the purple row that I was having a struggle with. Well, not having a struggle with, but I was just getting a little bit of fallout. Eye powder under my eyes before I do my eye makeup, so it does tend to wipe away and not leave any mess. Like I said earlier on, it is something to be aware of. I'm going to take that same bottled up shade and place that under my eyes. And I'm just taking that on the outer half. And then I want to take this like seafoamy green metallic and I'm going to spray my brush again. This shade's called If Only, and I'm just going to place that underneath my lash line. Then we're going to use the shade Remember on the inner part of my eye. It's the same shade I used yesterday just to brighten up that inner corner. Then I'm going to take an EO2, which is a slightly smaller blending brush, and I'm going to go back into that shade All That's Left. And I'm not going to spray it because it is really glitzy and metallic as it is. And I'm just going to place that in the inner corner. Not as dramatic this time, hopefully. Although I did enjoy it in my last look. I love the way this highlighter catches the light. It's beautiful. I am a little bit sweaty. You remember I was moaning that we didn't have a great summer? Well, now we're getting a heat wave. And sitting under these lights in a heat wave is not the most fun. I'm just going to do some eyeliner and mascara, and as per usual, I'll be right back. Okay, the first product I want to talk about is the Bare Cheeks palette. I've only used 2 shades in this, but so far I'm in love. I'm a bit nervous about some of the deeper shades on me because they are quite pigmented, but I feel like if I just go in with a really light hand, then I could make most of these work. But I will get back to you on that in another video. Same with the Noctilucent palette, I only used 2 shades. Far Out and Transient. It is a very wet look effect highlighter, and it is my cat's washing in the background, bless her. Anyway, it is very kind of like you can see it from space, so if that's not your thing, I wouldn't recommend this. Also, like I said earlier, there are micro sparkles in this product, so if you don't like micro sparkles or anything glitzy on your cheeks, then this is not the palette for you. But if you love those things and you love being seen from space, then I definitely recommend this. If you love colourful highlighter, it was a thing for a while, I never grew out of it. I love colourful highlighter, so I'm so glad to have this in my life. And like I said with the other shades, then I will get back to you in another video. And then we have the Longing palette. So I basically used a couple of shades from this row, a couple of shades from this row, a couple of shades from this row, and a couple of shades in this row. I haven't actually touched this row here, so I think what I might do is like a YouTube Shorts or a TikTok or Instagram Reels or something, and show you a look using these 2 rows here, and then I can update you in another video about how I feel about the palette as a whole. But so far so good. I think this is beautiful. I can't believe that for such pigmented shadows they blend so well. I mean, I guess it's in the name Blend Bunny, but I can't wait to try the other palettes that I have from Blend Bunny, because this is probably one of my new favourite palettes that I've tried so far this year. I have to say, I think it's stunning. I think the shimmers, especially the mattes, are beautiful, but as a shimmer person, the shimmers are the stars in this palette for me. Especially Love Letters, When It Rains, and I also Remember, it's just so sparkly, and also All That's Left. In fact, every shimmer shade that I've tried in this palette is so beautiful and so sparkly and pigmented, and you don't have problems trying to get it off your brush and on your eyes and everything. I used the setting spray, I used the Benefit Professional setting spray. I would have used the glitter glue just to hold the shadows on, although they don't seem to need that. With a setting spray they're just fine, and also a glitter glue will help intensify the shadows as well, but I feel like the setting spray's done a good enough job. I will try the shimmers with the glitter glue and get back to you when I can lay my hands on said glitter glue. All in all, I've had so much fun playing with this palette. I can't wait to do something with these dingy, browny, greeny shadows just over here. I love a good grungy moment. So yeah, I've had fun playing with it. Not a shade that I've tried that has let me down, so so far there are no duds in this palette, and like I said earlier, I will give you an update in another video. Anyway guys, that was my Blend Bunny Cosmetics first impressions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these videos, and I will see you in my next one.